Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right? You know who said?
What's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, you know, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh.
You know?
Sounds rough, man.
Well, it's just amazing how many people in the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala, too.
Yeah, seriously. It's like insane.
Publicly, openly, like all in.
Yes. It's like J-Lo was like his ex-girlfriend. and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
Joe Rogan, along with Terrence Howard and Katt Williams, just snapped on some wild files linked to Diddy. Even Elon Musk has entered the chat and sending warning shots to all the white celebs that were wrapped in this mess trying to flee the country. Now, before we go any deeper, let's be clear. Everything in here is based on speculation and what sources close to the whole thing and the internet is claiming. I am just reporting on what is being said, so don't come for me. New recent reports from the prison where Diddy is locked are coming out, and they are saying that Diddy might be ready to flip if it means saving himself. And according to Joe Rogan, Terrence, and Katt, there are a few popular names that might tally with what Diddy is about to expose. And the one name no one was really expecting was Uncle Steve Harvey. According to folks online and what Katt hinted at, as soon as Steve caught wind of Diddy's indictment, he hopped on the first thing smoking out the country. The word is he didn't just bounce, he cleaned up shop too, wiped his socials of anything tied to Diddy, even deleted an old tweet from 2017 where he called Diddy a brother doing good for these kids. That line ain't holding up too well right now, and the situation gets heavier. Back in the day, Steve was moving like everything was smooth. He was vacationing in Italy with Diddy and Lori Harvey, who was dating Diddy at the time after she dumped Diddy's son Justin for him. Just nasty. But what really got folks uneasy was a photo of Lori rocking white nail polish. Might seem small, but if you've been keeping up with this Diddy case, that detail is very horrific. In her lawsuit, Cassie said Diddy made all the women around him wear white nails. The reason? When the freak-off happened, the contrast, it popped against the skin of his black ex-workers. According to her, this was all for his twisted recordings that he kept. What's even crazy was that Young Miami had white nails too, even Diddy's mom. Now that's got folks wondering, did Steve really not know? Or was he getting close to Diddy for power moves in Hollywood? Because at the time, Diddy was a billionaire, the CEO of Revolt TV, and had connections to big producers. This is why streets are saying if Diddy talks, folks might finally find out why Steve dipped so fast. Then you got Meek Mill. Since the arrest news dropped, Meek has been mad quiet, which is weird because he and Diddy got history. That video of Meek in the pool, Diddy calling him daddy and saying he loved him, yeah, it don't look like a joke no more. It aged bad.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
And when Diddy's case was at his height and names were being called out in all these lawsuits, he dipped. Mind you, Lil Rod, who also sued Diddy, said that Diddy was bending Meek Mill and giving him deals in return. So when all this was coming out, he flew to Africa and was posting cryptic tweets. One even said he'd pay $100K to whoever helped him figure out who's trying to connect him to Diddy, but the internet ain't letting up. They say Meek's just doing damage control because he might have been caught on some footage that the feds picked up. If that's true, it's only a matter of time before the truth is revealed when the case starts. Meanwhile, folks saying he's acting like he don't know what's going on, but that front ain't fooling nobody. Similarly, Usher has also been panicking. Usher has been around Diddy since he was a youngin', and his name came up because of how deep he was tied to Diddy back in the day. See, when Usher was just 13, he was part of what they call Diddy's flavor camp. And now, people are saying Diddy had Usher in some wild situations. And do y'all remember what Diddy's ex-bodyguard Gene Deal said? According to Gene, Diddy sent Usher to the hospital, bleeding from, you know what?
If you don't mind me asking, because I know the topic is sensitive, what happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executive from the industry back in Harlem. You know, I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. And I'm not going to speak on their name. They doing programs and everything like that, and they may be doing some programs. They may speak on it themselves. But I heard it from some music executives.
Where did you hear it?
Bro, you know how people be talking and we was around some people, something like that, and then some people might say, yo, I don't F with that dude. And at the time, I didn't even know who the F Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when somebody say, yo, man, I don't F with them, man, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent him to the hospital? Man, nigga was bleeding from the, and that's what was said. I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you heard, and that's what happened. So, and just to hear this, and this new thing where they saying that they got kids coming forward and said that he did that, man, that shit is crazy. And like I just said, that's just something that I heard.
And just when you thought that was enough, there's that old Kevin Hart interview with Diddy. In it, Diddy's joking about waking up in bed with Usher when they were younger. At the time, folks laughed it off. But now, with all this coming to light, nobody's laughing. If Usher got wrapped up in any of that, he better get his legal team on speed dial.
That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, damn, pause, but like, that's how, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older.
Then you got Jay-Z. He and Diddy been tight for years. Business, parties, all of that. But where it gets shady is around a woman named Kathy White. Word is, she was Jay's mistress, and she allegedly passed away after getting pregnant by him. Folks always whispered about it, but now the streets are saying Diddy might know something, maybe even got tapes. But that ain't the only situation Jay's name got dragged into. You remember a few months ago? That lawsuit popped up where an unnamed woman accused both Diddy and Jay-Z of SA, said it happened after the 2000 VMAs at some high-profile party in an NYC residence. But when the facts started unraveling in court, things got shaky. The woman claimed her father picked her up after the alleged incident, but when he testified, he said he didn't remember anything like that. She also mentioned talking to Benji Madden at the same party, but Madden said he wasn't even in New York at the time. With too many gaps and not enough solid ground, the judge had no choice but to dismiss the case. Still, that didn't stop the fire from spreading. Jaguar Wright came in swinging at Jay-Z. She said Jay just as dirty as Diddy, maybe worse, called him the devil. That's her words, not mine. If Diddy's got anything to tie Jay to what went down at those freak-offs, it's curtains for him.
I have 3 right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years.
And who could forget that one awkward Diddy birthday video, him singing to French Montana, both of them covered in baby oil.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear French. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
This is a special birthday for both of us.
Yeah.
Now that we know the feds found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil in Diddy's crib, that whole moment feels different. And it don't stop there. Jennifer Lopez got brought up too. Back when that club shooting went down with Shine, it's been said J-Lo knew the real story. According to sources, she was allegedly the one who carried the strap in her purse and then lied to the grand jury.
The irony is, there was a grand jury. We all had to go and speak at the grand jury. J-Lo testified at the grand jury, as did many other people. It needs to be reopened, because if that is in fact the case, she carried the gun in and she lied to the grand jury. It needs to be reopened.
That's what Natanya Rubin, one of the women injured that night, claimed. She's been pushing for the case to be reopened, willing to get fragments pulled from her face just to prove that Jennifer lied for all this years. She said both Diddy and J-Lo need to be held accountable, and if it really comes to that, J-Lo might finally be facing some consequences. Now here's where things really spin. Whistleblowers like Katt and Terrence started bringing up white celebs too, the ones who have been acting like ghosts lately.
Do all those things. When you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
Even Elon Musk jumped in. He reposted a tweet calling out Ellen DeGeneres for dipping out of the country right after the Diddy situation went public. And if you've been paying attention, Ellen ain't just laying low, she vanished. New pics surfaced of her at a low-key pub in England with a brand new look. Changed her hair, her vibe, her whole setup. And she says she moved to dodge what's going on in America. But folks ain't buying that. They think she's running. Ellen and Diddy go way back. He used to be on her show all the time, joking, laughing, talking about wild nights.
Yeah, no, it's great. So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
That's a different type of party, though.
Uh-huh.
No, it'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, you know, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. And then it will carry on there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then No, I mean the after party.
Mm-hmm. No, I know about them.
In 2016, she tweeted him, "Happy birthday, Cuddle McSnuggle stuff," and said, "Y'all don't need to know why." But now, people want to know exactly why. She also had a rep for being nasty behind the scenes, with former staff exposing her for running the most toxic set in Hollywood. And now, rumors are floating that 2 of her past romantic partners died under strange conditions. People are connecting dots, saying Diddy might have helped cover stuff up. Soon as Joe Rogan finished breaking it all down, Katt Williams stepped in to double the pressure, and he didn't hold back, not even a little. For years, people have been treating Katt like he was talking out of pocket, but now, folks are starting to see he might have been ahead of the curve the whole time. Katt, the whole industry starts catching heat. Doesn't matter what shade you are, if you were moving funny behind the scenes. Also have Leonardo DiCaprio on this list. As soon as the story started unraveling, Leo was on a plane headed straight to Italy. He said it was for vacation with his new girlfriend, but the timing, it was too convenient because old pics from Diddy's East Hampton crib in '98 resurfaced with Leo just chilling in the cut.
You know, I think part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public. And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Now, people are wondering how deep that connection really went. Word is, Leo and Diddy were real tight in the 2000s, with Diddy even calling him his #1 invite to the infamous white parties.
Who's the person that's #1 on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And I can get on that list,
yes,
right?
Without a doubt, you are invited.
And just like that, Leo's team started pushing back, saying they haven't spoken in years. Then you got Ashton Kutcher, who also started moving different. His old MTV ties to Diddy run deep. They ran the New York Marathon together. He was at the 2009 white party. And there's that Hot Ones interview where Ashton got real nervous when asked about Diddy's parties. Said he had stories, but couldn't share. Now, it's looking like there was a reason for that.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over punked, because he was like, yo,
don't punk
you
me.
can't punk me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Everybody's on the table. He's like, not me, I'm off the table. And so that started our conversation. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out, watch football together.
According to In Touch, Ashton and Mila Kunis are planning to fully leave Hollywood and start a new life in Europe. They say it's about stepping away, but folks online are saying it's more like stepping out the blast zone before Diddy's trial hits. And just recently too, Terrence Howard dropped a major bombshell. His interview on the PBD podcast lit a fire under this whole situation. He didn't just speak in riddles, he laid it out raw. According to Terrence, Diddy tried to get at him under the disguise of a business move. At first, it looked like Diddy wanted help with acting. Then it turned into studio visits for music. But it wasn't about art, it was about getting close. Terrence's own assistant had to tell him straight up he wants to smash. Soon as that got said, Terrence ghosted. Shut all doors, backed away quick.
Puffy invited me for weeks asking me to come and teach him wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. He's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay, so then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to.
Come on now, dog.
That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh.
Come on, man.
Now I get it.
But he made it clear, Diddy wasn't the only one. Other producers did the same thing. The pattern been there. He said when a man walks in a room, he gets treated different. And when you push back on those shady vibes, you don't get invited back.
So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you punch them in the mouth. Knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. You know, when you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're gonna get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room.
And according to him, that's exactly what happened to a lot of these so-called stars out here. Meanwhile, Katt backed up every word. He explained how he turned down $50 million 4 times just to keep his name clean. And when he said he was protecting his virgin hole, folks don't realize what they're agreeing to when they chase certain deals. Diddy, according to Katt, been trying to get close for years, but he always said no. Then the convo circled back to one thing a lot of people been whispering for years: the dress agenda. That whole narrative about Hollywood pushing black men into feminine roles before they hit the top. Katt, Terrence, and Dave Chappelle have been calling it out for years. Terrence said that's why he got pushed out of Iron Man 2. It wasn't about money, it was because he didn't fit the mold. He wasn't trying to wear no dress or play no watered-down version of himself. Katt had the same experience. According to him, Martin Lawrence tried to get him in a dress for Big Mama's house too, but Katt wasn't with it. According to Katt, he told Martin he wasn't the one they were looking for. They needed Brandon T. Jackson instead, and that's exactly who they went and got. Katt said he had all the work lined up, but he just wasn't willing to wear He called out Kevin Hart too. Kevin once said he'd never put on a dress.
I haven't ran into to put on a dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross.
But next thing you know, he's on SNL doing just that, and then his career blew up after.
The new pope is 9-year-old Oscar nominee, Kavenshané Wallace.
Katt ain't saying that was a coincidence. He said that's the game. You either dance with the system or they keep you out.
So, you know, some of us make choices. I think it's not a biggest choice for others. I'm saying at the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are gonna say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress wearing people before him. So now we have Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next.
Okay.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment.
Even Dave Chappelle told Oprah that same story about how they tried to get him in a dress. He wasn't with it either, and we all saw how he bounced to Africa right after that.
Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it.
And trust the internet has a lot to say. Everybody's gonna come out the woodwork saying, I never associated with Diddy, yet we all know Hollywood loves Diddy parties. Another said, I hope the Epstein and Diddy lists get released and all these evil people go to jail. Now, as we slide toward that May 2025 trial, this whole thing feels like a countdown. So, what's your take on this wild unraveling? Drop your thoughts below. We're watching it all unfold. And if you're all in for raw truths and bold takes, hit that like, subscribe, and click on that next video popping on your screen now.